There's Mark walked in. He used to be the voice of Tom's Guitar Show. He'd come through and the speaker say, "Oh, you have a call," and it was like that was a long time ago. Back when we had a call-in show. Back when we were at the library, public library. Back in the olden days. Anyway, all right. So hello everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And back in those old days, you know, they called on the phone. They'd say, "Hey man, what's your show about?" I say, "Well, it's about an hour. About guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So what we do is we play the guitars, of course, but we also field questions and comments and complaints about the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, how to play the guitar. We could talk about other things like the guitarron, the guitarra, sitars, lutes, ouds, vihuelas, banjos, balalaikas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, tiples, and cavaquinhos, you know, ukuleles, banjolins, and bandolims, and bandurias, and bandoras, you know, harmoniums, harpsichords, and harmonicas, and pipe organs, piccolos, pianos, timpanis and timbales, penny whistles, and I don't know, trombones, tromborinas. I don't even know where I am. I've got, usually I just name off instruments, and sometimes I name off the same ones that, you know, I have it like memorized, but this week I'm kind of freaked out. I got a hold of this here guitar. This is a Reverend bayonet. So I think I'm done with the Reverend thing for now. This is the 13th Reverend I've gotten in the last few years. And I also brought my Shade signature model. Funny thing is, this one over here, it's dark blue, but it's a Shade Balderose, so it's Shade from Agent Orange. And this guitar is actually what they call a rock orange, a rock and roll orange. And they look like the same guitar, they're the same shape, and they pickups kind of, you know, if you don't look too carefully, they look the same. But they sound very different to me. This one's a little bit brighter. And I put a little more chorus on there just because I can, right? We're on sorry, so I'm doing these two Reverend guitars, and I've got the Roland JC40, which I noticed is hissing, something spectacular. I've put two mics on it because it's the way it works is they have one that's like a chorus and then the one that's not, so you get this stereo effect. So lately, well, Saturday at the Tuscan Moon where I was playing my gig down there in Kelowna, I actually played the Reverend Air Sonic, the silver one. Pardon me while I yawn. Sorry about that. Anyway, through this amp. And it was this big full sound. I was out in the patio and the place was packed, and I did my kind of, see, okay, I don't think this is actually a reissue. I think they kept making it. This is like in the 70s it came out. It was the early 70s. The JC 120, which is 120 watts. This is 40 watts, which is plenty big. It's like too loud now, and I've got it turned down to, you know, like 2 or something, but it goes up to 10. But anyway, so I guess what I'm nattering on about is, yeah, so this is a big full sound, but I got these two speakers working together, and you know what we're doing is we're manipulating pressure waves in the air, which is really all I do is manipulate pressure waves in the air to try to manipulate people's brains. So they'll have a positive experience. That's what I try to do. I don't do a whole lot of tritones, although I do sometimes. But
you can if they deserve it.
Yeah, I can if they deserve it. Yeah, right. Dissonances are like, I mean, if I want to. I mean, you know. What if you have a major 7 right before the octave? You know, but I try to use my powers for good. I know a little bit about theory, okay? I'm more like a jazz guitar player would, but than a real composer. But you know what I mean. Anyway, so I've been playing, but I played that one, and I got this big full sound. So I've got this thing I want to play. I wouldn't want to call it jazz guitar, because I'm afraid the jazz police would get on my case about it, and also. You know, the thing about being a jazz musician is that they don't pay you. That's one of the main jokes, is you don't get paid for it. And you know, well, you know the joke, I've said it many times, the joke about difference between a jazz guitar player and a rock guitar player is the rock guitar player plays 3 chords in front of thousands of people, and the jazz guitar player plays thousands of chords in front of 3 people. So.
And the
Corollary.
Yeah. That is that a jazz guitarist gets paid in inverse proportion to the amount of chords he generates.
Ah, okay, yeah. That's pretty good. We got to figure out a way to make that into a good joke. He was, I don't know if people hear that at home. Mr. Skopinski said that the jazz guitar player gets paid in inverse proportion to the number of chords he generates. So, I've been accused by my wife of being a hoarder, and I tend to, I like to collect guitars and play them. I don't just want to shine them up and hang them on the wall. I play them. But I also like to collect chords, and I've been like, okay, so months and months ago, I worked out a nice arrangement, or I thought it was a nice arrangement to Fly Me to the Moon, because Paula at the Tuscan Moon, she loves that song. She's a big Frank Sinatra fan. She's of Sicilian extraction from New Jersey originally. So in her family growing up, Frankie was everything, for pop music. So there's this thing at the end of the repeat sign, right? There's at the end of the first ending. So you repeat the verse, so it's like, oh, fly me to the moon. And it's this chord right here. Say, oh, fly me to the moon. See, but it sets up this longing, There are other chords. I'm working on, I'm trying to work up a solo for Harlem Nocturne. And it's an old song. It's a very lonesome saxophone solo type of song. But I was thinking, okay, C minor major 7, and there are a couple of ways I could play it. But the way I kind of like this way. I mean, doesn't that make you feel something, man? Anyway. Here's one. But this one, I don't know, these are, like I keep telling people, I don't hurt anybody. Oh, there's something smudge on there, huh? And that's nice, right? That's nice. And then this, sorry, that sounds like the same chord, but this, it's just 2-finger chord. I say, wow, man, that's so cool. The Mike Hammer show that was on TV had that song as the theme song. Stacy Keach played Mike Hammer, who's a character from a lot of like paperback thriller novels, Private Eye, and so you get this this dingy office building with the guy wearing a fedora, and then, going after the bad guys and solving crimes. Anyway, never mind. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so this guitar, this is another Reverend. It's the same body shape as the one I'm going to play in about a minute here, but it has these Nuevo 90. I think they're supposed to be kind of like P90 pickups, but they're not noisy. You don't hum and stuff. Like it's like trying to emulate the sound of a P90 in a humbucker. So it's a very quiet, clean pickup, and it's powerful. But the P90 is kind of a single coil, fat kind of soap bar pickup. And so this one has this sound. The other one is I forget what it's called, but it's a kind of rail up, the rails on it. And then the two of them together sounds like this. Let's see if I put this one down here. I'm gonna erase that. If I don't. I'm also using the Ditto X4 looper. A lot of times I use a little tiny Ditto, and here I often use the an old Roland RC1 because it's RC1, no, RC2, gee, I think maybe I've forgotten. Oh, well, anyway, it's the an older one because I can put a 9-volt battery in it, and I can just shove it in a box or in my equipment bag, and I don't have to plug it in the wall. But I've been using this other one, and one thing that the the Ditto X4 looper does is it has an FX pedal. That one of the things you can do is you can get it to fade out, which I thought was kind of cool. It also has the tape stop. Let's try that. I don't think I ever tried that. I don't use a fancy jiggery pokery that much. I just want a simple loop. But so like I'll do this. The FX part, what happens? I like that, huh? Oops. I'm going to do it again. Yeah. I just put it on half speed, just for fun. Yeah, it didn't work. Okay. Oh. I don't know what double does, but I'm gonna try it. Oh, double speed. Remind me never to use that one again. Okay. I like fade. There's also a setting where you can do it once, and then you can you can play your whole thing and it'll just stop at the end, which is fine. But anyway, okay. So this here is my bayonet. Bayonet's a terrible thing. It looks like a knife, but actually, a lot of times bayonets have a triangular blade, so when they stick you with it, you just keep bleeding. It doesn't close up like if you had a blade like you'd have for like a knife you'd use in the kitchen. It's a terrible thing. Not really good for anything else. I suppose you can roast stuff on it, but you know. So I don't know why you have to name a guitar after a terrible like hand-to-hand combat weapon, but I don't know. There's an amp that Fender was making called the Machete. At least you can use that for chopping sugar cane and stuff. Anyway, never mind. Sugar's bad for you. Hang on. Okay. But so this is yeah. I'm not saying that I'm happy to have this instrument in the available, but I'd say more I'm overjoyed. Oh, hang on. How about this other one here? Excuse me. I have an unreliable guitar stand, so I don't actually have a guitar on it in the music room. I leave it in where I put my mic stands and stuff. I keep meaning to get rid of it because it works fine until the thing that holds the guitar like lets go and it falls down, and then you. In fact, I'm starting to get paranoid. Hang on, it's right there, isn't it? Yeah. All right, I don't know these guitars very well. The number of Stratocasters and Telecasters I've plugged in over the years. All right, so to me this has a different sound. It also has the tuners on the wrong side, which freaks me out, but I'm trying to get used to it. This is the Shade, the Reverend Shade, as in Shade Balderos or something, Balderos from whatever, from Agent Orange, the band Agent Orange, and I don't know anything about him. I've had people tell me that he doesn't really, I mean, he's not playing anything that's very complicated, but he has a lot of attitude and probably a lot of tattoos and stuff. But this guitar is his signature model, and it's really nice, I think. And I've had people suggest to me that I play these kind of guitars that nobody else is going to play clean. If you go on YouTube and look for Reverend Shade or Bayonet, or whatever, or Aersonic, it's really hard to find anybody who's going to play them clean. And if they do, it's always got a little bit of grit on the sound, and it's what they consider clean is like a little bit dirty to me. So I want a nice clean sound without the distortion. You know what I mean by the distortion is I've got this sort of. There's a little bit of reverb and some chorus on there. There's actually a distortion knob. Hang on. Well, well, that was distortion. There are many kinds of distortion. There's overdrive, there's fuzz, there's all kinds of stuff. I actually have some distortion pedals in my collection of pedals I play with, and so, but yawn again, sorry. I don't know where Bob is, but he's not here. Anyway, usually Bob can help me with the jokes and stuff, but the one joke is, why didn't the heavy metal guitar player like to ride a bicycle? Only 2 pedals, man? Anyway, okay. I mean, but, and I do find that some things like fuzz is kind of cool when if you're doing live looping. I do a lot of live looping, of course, so I put the chords down, and then I have a, that's kind of pretty, isn't it? Yeah, this is, it's a pretty nice guitar, too. But if you, so if I lay down a nice clean rhythm guitar part, and then I want to solo on it, something that sounds like kind of a raspy, breathy saxophone, a little bit of fuzz on a Telecaster or a Stratocaster, I suppose, gives me that kind of, sound, that kind of fuzz, the fuzz just distorts things. It doesn't overdrive it, it just distorts it, fuzzes it up, and, confuses the signal, I guess. And so the thing is that, I like the sound of a trumpet. If I were a composer who could actually get their stuff played, which is really hard to do, I would quite possibly write stuff, and I could hire a really good trumpet player to play my trumpet lines. But I don't have I'm low rent, as you can probably tell, and so I can't really do that. And I don't really have the skills anyway. I don't have that much compositional skills. I'm just mostly, I can compose for things that I can play, and maybe beyond that a little bit. I mean, I understand guitar, banjo, mandolin, ukulele, and bass guitar and string bass, I suppose. And I know something about cellos and things too, and violins. But maybe I could write a string quartet that wasn't terrible. But mostly I just make up guitar music and I arrange things for my little gigs. So if I want that trumpet sound, Telecaster through a tube amp, if you do it right, like the Fender Princeton or the Deluxe Reverb, I can get that same, it doesn't sound like a trumpet, I'm not saying, but it sort of occupies the same space as a trumpet. If I want that breathy saxophone, I can just use a fuzz, a pedal, and I can get that kind of, it doesn't sound like a breathy sax, but it's in that neighborhood of sounds, you can do that. And then with the guitar, of course, you can you have your fingers right on the strings, you can do all those things. Mr. Skopinski is going to be the Bob for the day.
Well, I can never be the Bob for the day, nor any of your other excellent guests. I just thought I would come out and say hi and ask about your gig in Kelowna that you have.
Well.
And this is a hard job because of those studio lights. I always kind of wince into those. Bob handles them really well. You wouldn't even think he has any lights in his eyes when he sits out here.
Yeah.
So pardon my squinting, but...
it's not easy for me either. But anyway, so as far as my gig, I'll tell you, for one thing, everybody knows, it's in Kelowna, the Tuscan Moon restaurant right downtown.
Beautiful downtown Kelowna.
Beautiful downtown Kelowna, with the Amish horse and buggies going clippity-clop down the street and all the knick-knack shops. It's an Italian steakhouse there. And so throughout these many months I've been playing there, years actually, I've been playing there on Friday, Saturday night, but things have been going pretty well lately, and they want me on Thursdays also. See how that goes, if enough people show up. So I'm going to do that. And so I just play for the dinner thing, and outdoors is so much better because I can be louder. And so I don't want to be loud so people can't talk, because they want to talk and have dinner together. I'm not it's not like dance hall, and it's not like a saloon, and I've been to nightclubs when it's just so incredibly loud. There's no way you can just shout at each other, And so I want to be in this sort of level where people can speak normally at their tables, and I'm not too loud, but they can all hear me. So then that's hard to do indoors. And there's a high 15-foot ceiling or so, maybe the higher, and the sound bounces off indoors, and so everybody's talking. It's really loud too. So but in the summer I'm outside, and I got this amp behind my head over here, and or some other amp. I'm going to experiment this summer, and I play what I want. So now I'm doing this thing, and I don't want to call it jazz guitar because well, the one about the two jazz guitar players running into each other in the street. And one says to the other, "Hey man, I just bought your record. It was awesome, your new record." And one says, "Oh, so that was you." Yeah. Actually, I told that to Michael Kimber, the viola guy, composer, who was my office mate at Co. And he had, so he and his wife had gone to a viola concert. And there's Bob. Went to a viola recital.
Oh my goodness.
And he told us, "Oh, we bought your record. I bought your record." He said, "Oh, so you're the one," said the guy. So this is 10, 20 years ago, something like that. Anyway. But yeah, so I'm doing that.
I have to dock my pay tonight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gee whiz, Bob, you're late. I'm going to dock your pay in half.
You get docked half your pay, and the other half goes to me.
Okay.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, he's been helping out. We got a new guy working there.
We do. We have a good guy here.
Yeah. We should get him out here, I suppose. But
Well, absolutely, and I'll let you continue to talk with Bob about Kelowna and stuff, and
yeah.
Okay.
thank you, because you are the official co-host.
I see.
Well, I told
Thanks.
him he could be Bob for a day, but
Well,
I could never do that.
that's what he said. He actually said that. You can watch it on YouTube later, and you know what we said about you behind your back, but it wasn't. But come on in, yeah. But he came out just a minute ago. He just came out like 2 minutes ago, but asked me about Kelowna, so I'm just nattering on about what I'm doing there. So, and I've been talking about that a little bit anyway. But what I did was I went to the jazz kind of guitar sound. And I don't want to sound like a jazz guitar player because I already told the jazz guitar player jokes,
I think the threads on this mic stand are stripped.
Oh. Oh boy, well, doesn't surprise me. But anyway, so so I'm doing this thing, I'm doing like different kinds of guitars and stuff all last summer, the whole summer season, from like, early May through into like the end of September. I played almost exclusively a big fat jazz box through this amp. And now I'm doing different kinky things like this thing here. And Bob, since you just got here, I have some news. See that orange guitar there?
Yeah.
I just got it a couple hours ago. Does that surprise you?
I'm shocked.
Shocked. Okay, all right. But anyway, so I'm playing stuff like this. In fact, I may play one or both of these on Thursday, which is only 2 days away. So now I'm doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if enough people show up on Thursday. So what I'm going to do...
That's in Kelowna?
In Kelowna, right down, beautiful downtown Kelowna, about 20 miles south of here. Easy to find. You can go down Highway 1 if you want to take your life in your hands, or you can go down Highway 218.
At Tuscan Moon?
At Tuscan Moon. Take exit 80 through Riverside, the future birthplace of Captain Kirk. The next town over, about 7 miles out beyond Riverside, is Kelowna. And you just take the sign that says Business District, and there you are, right in the middle of town. It'd be hard to get lost in Kelowna. I suppose it's possible, but,
Like most of these little Iowa towns, you're never far from the main drag.
That's right. Well, if you go too far in one direction, you're in a cornfield.
Yeah.
So, as long as you don't get lost in the cornfield, you should probably, you figure it out. Anyway, so is it 5th Avenue or 5th Street? I think it's 5th Street, anyway. But it's the main drag, the business district. We're right across from the hardware store, right next to the bakery they caught on fire but never
Reopened?
They never reopened, which is too bad because in the evenings you could smell the cinnamon rolls coming across the alley. It was like,
Yeah.
fresh. But about 9:30, the wind usually shifts and you get the sale barn where they sell all the horses and things, and nice earthy horse smells.
Yeah.
But, horses are very informal animals, if you know what I mean.
Or like we used to say, that fresh country air.
That's right. Yeah. Being right downwind of a hog confinement operation, that'd be fun. But anyway, I remember people were trying to sue some hog farmer because they built their dream house out in the country, and then the next year, somebody opened up a hog confinement operation right next door. and it was the prevailing wind came from that direction. So anyway, so my view is I want to play on Thursdays, but I want to play something different on Thursdays. I want to do something creative if I can on Thursdays, and like a guitar like this, the Reverend Shade. And I've had this for well over 2 weeks, so this is hardly new. But
Not going to get out the yellow flying V and do some headbanger stuff?
Well, actually, Warren, one of the owners there, it's Warren and Paula. They're a couple, and they own the place. Warren, who just had his birthday, I think he's 71. But anyway, he wanted me to play the Lamborghini yellow flying V because it's Lamborghini yellow. They match the paint of the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And Warren has had sports cars ever since he's like 30, I think. He has a little Porsche, and he likes Porsches and BMWs and things like that. So he's got the little convertible sports car, and so he has a Porsche. I'm not sure if I've ever seen his car. His main car is a little Mercedes sedan. He likes German cars, so I don't think he's a rich man, but he likes to have fancy cars. And they're usually older cars, but But yeah, so the Lamborghini yellow flying V piqued his interest. And just like this is a screaming rock and roll guitar, but I'm just, playing it clean. I actually already showed the viewing audience, both of them. What most people do is there's a distortion knob I was showing them. So if I turn this up, I get.
A little heavy metal?
Yeah, like a gentleman is someone who knows how to play heavy metal but chooses not to. So. And the joke I've been trying out mostly on kids, but the guy says, I want to rock. And then what should be funnier, I asked. If somebody handed him a great big boulder and he couldn't hold it up, of course it'd be paper mache, but it would look like a real boulder, and they go, and or else somebody, I want to rock, and a rock comes sailing through the air and hits him in the head. And every young person to date has gone in favor of the rock sailing through the air and hit him in the head, because that would be funnier. So I once did a Tom's Guitar Show sketch when my line was, you can't throw a brick without hitting a guitar player around here.
Yeah.
And then I had this alter ego in the overalls that I would play, George Schnickelfritz, I think I was calling it. Yeah. And what we made was a small box, but the size of a brick, and then covered it with paper and did some artwork on it to make it look like a red brick. So the guy's sitting there in a folding chair trying to tune his guitar. And so the regular me says, you can't throw a brick without hitting a guitar player. And then the brick comes, then it cuts right to this guy sitting there trying to tune his guitar, and he gets hit in the head with a brick, and he falls off the chair, and then it cuts right back to me. See, that's how I used to do things in the show. The one I really want to use is, but you can use a pick, and there's a guy in the overalls with a great big pickaxe, but right through out in the country, leaning against an old weathered shed, and go, like that, goes right through the top. Went through the top of that guitar like a hot knife through butter, but because I think that's funny for some reason.
Yeah, reminds me of a joke they had on Jack Benny's show one time. They're out in the country, going into a general store, and there's a big bin full of pickaxes. Mm-hmm. And it's like a sign that says, take your choice. And Jack Benny says, shouldn't that be take your pick?
Yeah.
Bet you've heard that before. And
yeah.
The storekeeper says, never from a grown-up.
Never from a grown-up. Never from that's pretty good, yeah. It pays to have pointy little shoes when you use these pedals.
That's different than the thing a different instrument.
This is the Ditto X4. We were talking about that earlier. This is probably the first time well, maybe not the first time I had it on the show, but it does different things. One thing, it had that fade out feature. So you push the FX for effects button, and it fades out. And we all did the tape stop thing, and well, we'll do it again. I mean, how many people watch the show all the way through anyway? I mean, so somebody who doesn't want to watch that rerun of Seinfeld, which we'll have with us always. Okay.
Or if there's a commercial on the broadcast stations.
Right. So, like, do like if I want to do tape stop. I mean, it's fun. But,
Yeah.
But I like fade. You can do it once, so you don't have to remember when to stop it. You can just like push the once button, and it'll stop at the end. So it won't keep going around. And my original looper that I had that feature, so which is kind of nice. But the fade out's kind of fun. And then the half speed's okay. The reverse is kind of silly. This reverse loop is a really popular one. Why would you want to use that? I'll go back to fade. Tape stop is fun, but, separate your silly kids playing stuff and... Before I put this one away and play the orange one, sorry, my hay fever, my nose itches. This is season. This has a bass roll off, so it sounds like this. I'm going to turn it over this way. It gets like this. And with the bass on full, it's fuller. It's cool. I don't really use this stuff much, but you know, what the heck, huh? Let's see. I don't know what BRI stands for. There's a button on the amp that says BRI. And all I know is it makes it a little bit louder and it hisses more, so I don't use it. So anyway. All right. So this is the shade, and this is a really dark blue, you know, and it doesn't, I don't know if you can see it that well on your TV. It looks kind of like the background I'm on. It's a kind of black and blue, which were, back when I used to have a guitar shop back many, many years ago, it seemed like, it was many years ago. My colors for the guitar shop were black and gold. And I didn't even think about the Hawkeyes when I did it, which is weird. But, you know, I had like a black and gold lettering. I had gold lettering on black business cards, for instance. And but the world wasn't ready, or at least this town wasn't ready for my kind of guitar shop. And I lost my shirt. Not really my shirt, but I got tired of eating ramen, and I couldn't get it to go down anymore. I was broke, you know, and so I finally gave up, and I moved next door. This is the Vine building, so there was some artist studios and like little really cheap offices next door. So the third floor was really inexpensive. I got a little room up there, and I made a sign on the door. I used my my logo, but it was black lettering on blue paper. So black and blue were my colors then, and because that's the color of bruising, you see. And I played the game to win, and I lost. So. The thing that bothered me about having a business, like a retail business, is people would, like I would try to help people get the guitars they wanted. And, you know, maybe some guy would be talking to me and he'd figure out some way to steal something and sneak it out without me noticing. Like when I wasn't looking, he'd slip it under his coat or something like that, you know. People would rip me off. And I was being nice and I was being kind and I was trying to help, you know, bring guitar music into people's lives. And I wouldn't, like, overcharge people and stuff, you know. I was trying to... yeah. Anyway. Also, I couldn't, because of the franchise agreements, I couldn't sell like Fender and things that other companies had, other stores had franchise agreements with. So I sold guitars which were maybe better than the Fenders were at that time, made by other builders. And people were afraid they couldn't get parts for it. And I tried to explain to them that the parts are universal. You know, you can mix and match parts. I mean, if it's a Telecaster, a Stratocaster, or whatever, machine tuners, pickups, and things, you can buy them. You can like swap them out, and it wasn't a problem. Like you want to buy a car, like a Yugo or something back in the day, where you know you weren't going to be able to get parts for it, you know, because they only sold them for like 2 years, and then they were terrible, and they kept breaking down. So you know, where are you going to get parts? Well, guitars aren't like that. Anyway, enough of that. Anyway, I'm back to this one. I kind of think I like this one better in a lot of ways than the Shade, this bayonet, and it's orange. The thing about it, it's just a little bit brighter, and I think it just depends on what amp they're plugged into and what kind of music you want to play, which is why you have to have a whole lot of guitars, because you make different sounds. Just the range of guitars. There's some famous quote by Segovia about of all the God's creations to accompany man. The dog and the guitar come in all kinds of sizes and shapes, or something. I don't know the exact quote. It was in Spanish anyway, but the idea that, you know, that, like, it's like dogs. You know, you got, well, you want a guard dog, or do you want a fuzzy little lap dog to sit in your lap? Do you want somebody to help you organize your sheep out in the field, or do you want, you know? something to hunt, or you want something to protect you. You want something to go sniff out truffles in the woods, or you want a bloodhound to go sniff out fugitives in the woods. You know, you just like, there are all kinds of dogs, but guitars are like that. You know, you have your like rock and roll guitars. You got the big fat smooth jazz boxes, and you got your classical guitars and your flamenco guitars, and you got so many differences within those. Like you can have a cedar top classical guitar, you can have a spruce top. Like what if you have a cedar top classical guitar with like Brazilian rosewood sides and back? You're going to have a deep, thick, murky sound with all kinds of overtones. Well, what if you want one that has a spruce top and maple sides and back? You'll say, wow, that thing's like bright and clear and cuts through anything. Say, wow, okay. Well, how do you want to express yourself? You start thinking about that. Then in the guitar world, you got your Telecasters and your Stratocasters, which are really quite different in their own way. And then you got your Les Pauls and your SGs, and then you got your other things, your Flying V and your Gibson Explorers, and you got all your other, everything else. I have a few guitars at home. And there's a whole world of steel string guitars. Once again, you can say spruce top or cedar top. It makes a big difference. Sides and back make a big difference. Mahogany, or how about an all mahogany guitar? That sounds pretty good. How about mahogany with a spruce top? Oh, okay. How about redwood top with an Indian rosewood sides and back? Or was it Massacre ebony, or Ziricote, or Ziricote, that kind of rosewood stuff that comes from Belize. That makes good sides and back. And you can go crazy with this stuff. So I've only gone a little crazy with it, I guess. anyway, good, clean fun. My
So
guitar-
Gibson filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, Gibson filed for bankruptcy. Somebody told me that, you know, they didn't seem to know. They heard it from somebody else, and
I saw it on the internet,
I saw it in,
so it must be true.
well, one of my students brought it for a newspaper clipping.
Yeah.
And all laminated and everything. I don't know how he feels about Gibson, but maybe he's a kid, you know. But, yeah, well, they done messed up bad. 1 minute left. Oh, no. Yeah, they messed up bad. And Guitar Center might be next, so, I mean, you know.
Yeah, they've been in trouble for a while, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. But they found somebody else to, like, help them restructure, and then that didn't work out, and they just need to, they're just like over $1 billion in the hole. And so it's one of those things, you know. Anyway, where are we? I guess it's by the end of the show, isn't it? Catch me out the Tuscan Moon on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Make reservations.
6:30 till the party's over?
Yeah, 6:30, maybe be earlier. I'm probably going to start at like 5:30 on Thursday.